All right, guys. So, in case you didn't know, Ben Rice is good at baseball, Cam Schlittler is good at baseball, and Devin Williams didn't blow today. And the Yankees won in extra innings, which on the road, extra innings, what is this team, right?
I don't know.
They won 7-1 in a game that was, they were actually losing. And it was funny, Gary, because I had to watch the replay, and because Gotham Sports is a public restroom, like I always say.
Yes.
For whatever reason, it wasn't playing the yes version. So I had to watch the Orioles broadcast of this game.
How was that?
It was hilarious. This guy is oohing and awing over Cam Schlittler right as he lets Cam Schlittler's dominating today. Oh, and he sends that one high and far in the air. I'm like, bro, there's no way. The timing of it was insane. I don't know if you saw that one pitch they called strike, and it was low. No. It was a walk to Judge, and it was right down the plate, but it was way low, right?
Okay.
The Orioles announcer was like, "Oh, come on, that's right down the plate." I'm like, "What are?" So, like, look, I thought the broadcast was not bad, right?
Right.
But let me tell you right now, I missed Michael K. and I missed the Yes broadcast for sure. Definitely feel like they do a better job. I would say Michael K. does a better job for sure of keeping it like kind of not centric, but like anybody can watch. But anyway,
That's
the Yankees, fair. Yeah, the Yankees won 7-1. Got to give them a lot of credit. A lot of that scoring actually came in the 10th. 6 out of the 7 runs. And they kept pace. We don't have the best news today because Toronto did win, but they kept pacing. Gary, how you feeling now that the Yankees just moved to 88-68 on the year and 44-37 on the road?
Well, it felt like we kind of just punted the day, right? Mm-hmm. I know we won, and that's great. Toronto winning is a buzzkill. It is. But they still got to go play Boston. I believe Boston currently is losing 3-0. But you know, the way I look at this is, again, you look up and say, all right, the Yankees win a game 7-1, and we really like our pitching for the most part. The bullpen is somewhat of a question mark. Duvall was a little shaky today, but overall, everything was fine. But Jake, you look up, I mentioned yesterday guys hitting with runners in scoring position, and guys, we're going to get to Ben Rice here in just a second. The Yankees were 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position today. There you have it. Jake, you even said we don't need 12 guys to get into scoring position if you're going to go 2 for 12, 1 for 12, 0 for 12. Who cares how many times you get to second base? All we care about is how many times you come through with a man at second or third base. And we came through 5 times today. It took a long time to get there, but I will tell you, better late than never. And if we're being real, Toronto has a lead on us in the division because of how they play at the end of games. It's not how they play in innings 1 through 7. They're still a good team in that span, but really their bread and butter is how they play in the 8th or 9th. And the Yankees had to take extra innings, and they became the best team on the field as soon as extra innings started. I know that they were talking with Girardi and company that they didn't like that Aaron Judge was leading off. You have the base open. They didn't, I think they did pitch to him, but eventually he did draw a walk. Well, the Yankees found a way to be the better team today, and that's all they have to do. They've got to win out. And if you can win out, it's a tall order, then it's now possible that you win this division. But, Jake, I don't want them waiting any longer. Let's talk Ben Rice. And Ben Rice, let's be real, was the platoon bat for the better part of 2025. Mm-hmm. The Yankees decided, and Aaron Boone most likely decided, that he's a first baseman. And then about halfway through the year, they're like, oh no, he's developed as a catcher. He can catch. And we're like, oh, okay. We're not sure why we weren't doing this from the get-go, but we've now gotten into a situation where they now trust Ben Rice to catch. They also trust him to play first base. So, in today's game, Ben Rice takes an at-bat, the biggest at-bat of the day, hits a grand slam against a left-handed pitcher. Previously, he was just a DNP. You're not playing. Come sit down next to coach because we have a better option against left-handed pitching. And I think if you look at the numbers, Ben Rice, his numbers do deteriorate against left-handed pitching. But I think our biggest claim here at this podcast was that how can you say someone can't do something if you won't let them do it? And now it seems like Ben Rice is getting the opportunity to take these at-bats. And if he didn't take his at-bat today, the Yankees lose. So I thought that was just poetic justice, if you will. And now, would you play him in a postseason series if Garrett Crochet's throwing, if you ran into a Chris Sale, if you ran into some of the game's best lefties, tough matchups? I'm sorry, I leave Ben Rice in the game. I think it's that simple. It's not so much about having home run power. It's not so much about batting average. I think it's more so, Jake, about the consistency of his at-bats. Kind of reminds me actually a lot of Trent Grisham, is that Trent Grisham doesn't have the highest batting average, but one thing that he's going to do for certain, he's going to take a quality at-bat no matter who's throwing. And that's something I see from Ben Rice. Aaron Boone has a clear decision to make, and Jake, I don't know how you feel about this. I know you're high on Ben Rice. Do you think he's now just a easy pencil in, or do you still ride with some platoon jobs in October?
No, he has to be in the lineup every day, Gary. He just does. He's one of the best players on the team. I know he's not as good against lefties, and no one's saying he's great against lefties. But you can't, on one hand, say, yeah, we're going to play Goldschmidt, against righties. Like, we know, like, his OPS is like a 597 or whatever. But then draw the line at Ben Rice playing against lefties when it's a 727, right? Is he the best against lefties? No. His on-base percentage goes down to 261. His slugging percentage is actually very similar. That is actually the surprising part. If he wasn't slugging, I could see why the Yankees wouldn't want him there. But he's still dangerous. He just doesn't get on base as much. What we end up seeing is Ben Rice from the left side just doesn't see the ball as well as he does against righties, which is normal for a left-handed bat to not see the ball as well, right? So
Freddie Freeman doesn't see the ball as well against lefties. Yeah. Now, mind you, hit a home run against Nestor Cortez and ruined the World Series for us. But we brought in a lefty for a reason. We brought him in for a reason. Freddie Freeman doesn't see lefties as well. Doesn't have to be bad. It's just not as good as against right-handed pitching. So I don't think there's anything wrong when someone doesn't see the ball as well against a certain side of the plate. You don't have to. They don't have to cease to exist now that those numbers exist.
No, I agree with you, Gary. And I think, what I want to say in regards to Ben Rice is this is, to me, why I think the Yankees they should be considered the favorite in the AL and even potentially to win the World Series. They have some of the most absolute killers in their lineup. And I understand it's a matter of getting those guys to all work in unison. But when Jazz Chisholm's on and Ben Rice is on and Judge and Stanton and Bellinger, I mean, that's murder's row. And then you have Grisham in there, right? And then whatever else you get. I mean, Volpe's been hitting well. He had another hit today after having some pinch running duty and then stayed out there. I think that's kind of what isn't really being talked about. And then Caballero has come through as well. Another 2-hit day for Caballero. His batting average is almost at 240 on the year. And for the Yankees, it's got to be a lot higher, I would assume, at this point. If it was
it has to be much higher. And by the way, I do see in the comment section.
So
274, okay. I do see from Ed W., who is a mod of ours. Ed says Judge has to prove he's not Mr. May. And I'm glad you brought that up. Mm-hmm. I'm really happy you did, because we touched on it a little bit in our last episode. And Apex, we're going to get to the supers here in just a second. We really appreciate those. Aaron Judge in September. Okay, and September's pretty important. Last, I think the two of us checked, Jake. Aaron Judge is hitting 344. His on-base percentage is 506. His slugging is 656. How about September? Now, mind you, it's a huge question mark. What is Aaron Judge going to do? What's he going to do when they don't necessarily, maybe the game plan is we're going to make Cody Bellinger beat us. We're going to make, more likely, a Jazz Chisholm. We're going to make the guys hitting behind Aaron Judge. We're going to make them beat us. What do you do then, right? You walk into a series against Alex Rodriguez and A-Rod's got it going, or he did leading up to October. You as a player, if you are A-Rod, if you are Aaron Judge, if you are some of the game's greatest players, you have to realize, well, sometimes they're going to take the bat out of my hand and I have to know when to do less. And Jake, you talked about it. I thought you brought it up beautifully. And this was the middle of the year while he was playing well. And you were talking about really right when he started struggling. You said, this is sort of what I see in October, is that he's really forcing the issue right now, something that doesn't need to happen. And when you walk up to the plate and there's a base open, and we saw that exact same situation play out tonight, and you say, all right, well, there's a guy at second base. They're not going to be pitching to me. And he gets 3-0. He eventually does the chase a 3-0 slider and finds a way to get on base, right, and not compound the problem. Find a way to do less. That's going to be how he becomes great. So, Ed, I completely agree with you. We don't want him to be Mr. Regular Season or Mr. Summertime, where he just sets it off and hits 60 homers, but you can't find a home run to save your ass in October. I think this is the year for Aaron Judge. That was my big prediction last episode. I think he is going to be the best player on the field throughout the postseason. And if he doesn't, we're not going anywhere. But Jake, you did mention maybe this rotation, maybe the others can help Aaron Judge really massage his way into October. And I think it'd be huge. It would.
Yeah, I think this supporting cast is the best they've had in a while for Judge. Maybe ever in Judge's tenure. I don't think that's crazy to say either. I mean, you lose Juan Soto, but then you have Bellinger. I mean, I think, honestly, you replaced Juan Soto just as far as the bat is concerned. I think Bellinger, even though he doesn't have the stats to prove that, I think just at-bat to at-bat, Bellinger, I trust just about as much as anybody to set the table, to come through in those spots. And so that's really the thing, I think, there, because then you have the other guys, right? You have a Stanton, you have a Jazz, you have Ben Rice. Ben Rice is a player that you and I were very high on, but we also were very high on the idea of playing Anthony Rizzo over him last year. Yep. This is new for him. This is uncharted waters. He didn't get a chance to really play in the postseason. So this is uncharted waters for Ben Rice upcoming, but it's a really good sign the way he's playing. And I'm actually going to bring this up to you here with Ben Rice, because I have it right here. And let's see here. I'll just share this. So obviously very small, so no one would be able to see that. Okay. So you have to go all the way back to May 21st to find the last time Ben Rice had an average this high at 252. So I think it's very impressive. I think he's getting better. I mean, it feels like he gets better every day. It does, in some capacity. But this was impressive, Gary, and I wanted to bring that up because, I think stuff like that matters. And, when you look at a guy like Ben Rice, that's something that you didn't have last year. You didn't have that. You brought it up many times last year. The Yankees don't have somebody at first base, which is a premium offensive position. Anthony Rizzo wasn't Anthony Rizzo of the past. Whether that was his fault or the medical staff, doesn't matter. We just knew we weren't getting premium offensive production at first. And we weren't getting premium offensive production at third either. That hasn't changed. But first, you are. And if you want to make the argument, well, okay, I'm going to actually go with Goldschmidt, and then I'm going to have Ben Rice catch. Well, guess what? You're getting premium catcher production. So say what you will.
So there's a reason, technically, for any one player to play. Yeah. If you look at third base, Ryan McMahon hasn't hit a lick for the Yankees.
Correct.
And I know that there's been some stuff periodically that have happened, and we mentioned the walk-off, right? We've mentioned what he's done in the positive way. But every player has something throughout the season that they do positive. It's just not going to be long-term.
Yeah.
Was that the video?
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
Dude, I don't know why it autoplays every time you use
because technology is stupid.
Yeah.
That's why.
Anyway.
Yeah, but any Yankee that plays in the postseason, they have a role. Caballero is to be a role player. You have to be the type of player that is going to run. And you saw it today. You see the wheels, and obviously we see 2 knocks, 2 for 5, and that's great. But he's trying to change the game with his legs. I know the broadcast, Jake, you didn't get to listen to the broadcast, but the Yankees broadcast was like, hey, guys, he's aggressive and he's successful, but he also can run himself into outs, right? He has to find a way to manage that. McMahon, same deal. He's a glove. If he gives us premier defense, I mentioned that he should be playing in this game regardless. There were people saying, oh, Ryan McMahon, just a horrible at bat. They're right. Absolutely. But how valuable is having a premier defender at the hot corner when you've got a guy like Cam Schlittler, a rookie pitcher, pitching today? Well, I think it's an obvious decision. And the one choice that the Yankees made today that was odd, but thankfully it didn't kill us, was Jason Dominguez being in left field today. That surprised me a lot. With the dimensions, right? Maybe they saw it as a situation of, okay, well, we can go out there and get Stanton off his feet. Jason Dominguez, it's your time to go out there and keep him fresh. And it seems like it's what they did, and it was in a win. So best case scenario for the Yankees, Stanton is now rested. I know you guys all saw that pinch hit opportunity. He walked up to the plate, and they walked him, and then they pinch ran for him. So it was Giancarlo Stanton's career in I guess, of late in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say that I agree with you. And I think we talked about earlier in the year. I wasn't sure why, but I felt like this will be the year Judge kind of figures it out in the postseason.
What made you say that?
Well, I was thinking about A-Rod, and I was thinking about how, eventually it kind of gets to you. Like, it becomes loud enough where you start to think it's actually a problem, and then you work on it. And then, as you know, but I said this before, obviously I made my observations about his swing and everything. But I mean, this guy is going to win the batting title. Aaron Judge is going to win the batting title. And that's the type of player you're looking at. A guy that has, let's say if he stayed healthy, 60-plus home run power, right? And he's capable of just taking what the defense gives him. If he has to serve it into right field, he's okay with that. If he has to have a swinging bunt, he's okay with that. There are times where, yes, he's still swinging for the fences. That exists, and I think that will still exist in the postseason. But I'm hopeful it's not going to be as evident as it was last year. Because last year it just felt like he got so frustrated with himself. He is swinging for the fences every time. There was a lot of whiffs. Obviously, there's going to be whiffs in his game. That's what happens with sluggers. But I think we've noticed this year the approach of Aaron Judge is definitely different. Doesn't mean he hasn't at moments gone away from that. But more often than not, Gary, I would say confidently, and that's why he's a 326 hitter right now, is that he has stuck by what is the best thing I can do for this team in this moment. I mean, Judge, he walked. That was an important walk in extras. There you go, right?
Would have ruined momentum, by the way, if he chases a pitch, in which he already chased a pitch to get to 3-1.
Yeah.
It ruins the entire inning. There's now pressure on the guy behind you. It's no longer, I didn't do my job. Now let's see what the next guy can do. No, you've directly impacted in a negative way
Domino
the entire
effect, yeah.
team. The whole team it's a negative impact.
Exactly.
So you just being able to draw a walk, even though very clearly the decision was, hey, snap off a couple sliders. If he's aggressive, overly aggressive, and you get ahead, you can go after him if you're ahead in the count. If you fall behind, snap another slider off, make him chase, or go to first base. And the Yankees beat you anyways after that happened. That's how they're going to try to make really the Yankees pay. Make the others beat us, and eventually, once Aaron Judge has proven in important games, I'll let my teammates go to work. Shohei Ohtani did it last year. He did. Didn't play his best in October. He played pretty well in a couple of those rounds, but not all of them. And he yet found a way to at least be productive enough to put his teammates in situations like Teoscar Hernandez, a Freddie Freeman, a Mookie Betts, and you're like, hey, these guys are teed up to come through, and they did, and that's why they were champions. So I wanted to read, though. I actually pulled up some Alex Rodriguez quotes here, and this one was actually from Brian Cashman, of all people. And this is after the Yankees had just won the World Series. This is what Brian had to say. I think he's exercised a lot of demons, said Cashman. There's no reason to take any. He can't do this. He can't do that. He's done it all now, and now he can just continue to write history. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. End quote. So that whole quote, what I took away is he can't do this. He can't do that. That's not the way they saw it. It really was a matter of he hasn't done it. And that's, I think, where we have to be with Judge. He's done things in October, but he hasn't done it. He hasn't had that A-Rod 09 postseason run. And if he does, how good would the Yankees have been last year in October? If Aaron Judge, if 99 looked like 99, how much better is the 2024 team? You can argue that they would have won the World Series if Judge looked like himself throughout the postseason, but he didn't. And we're not going to sit here and play the blame game because certainly he helped us in the Cleveland series, so we're not just going to pick and choose what we take away. But I'm pretty hopeful about Judge. I'm very hopeful on Ben Rice. I never thought we would be here, to be quite honest with you. But what we've done is build an offense that's now finding a way to come through with runners in scoring position. It's not just a home run contest. We hit home runs, good for us. We have to be able to get a knock when we need it. Can we do that? Jake, I don't know how much Yankees baseball your dad's been watching of late, but everything he said about the Yankees offense at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, even while we were winning, he said, hey, well, they're scoring runs, but are they really scoring the runs that you care about? And I sat there and thought about it for a while, even after, like, off air. I said, well, not really, but we're scoring. So, well, let's see how this ages. And then you start to realize, oh, they don't really score that run from second base with nobody out. Bases loaded, they tend to maybe score one of those runs, and that'll be about it. They don't get the big hit. Interesting. Now that we're in mid to late September, it feels like the Yankees may not put it together throughout 9 innings offensively, but once they get their shot, it'll land. And so that's something that maybe we're the hot offense going in October. I have no idea.
Yeah. Anytime my dad says something regarding the Yankees or the Rams or anybody, right, I always listen, and then it does have that effect on me as well, where I'll just sit there and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. It just kind of marinates with you. I think when it comes to that, I mean, that was kind of what the Yankees were, right? It's why they were struggling. That was really when they were really struggling. That was starting to show out. Like, people were starting to notice. It was starting to become evident that this team was that, and that was what they were. And I think lately, you know, we're seeing more of like less station to station, and more, you know, running on contact and, you know, smart base running as opposed to the dumb base running we saw during that losing streak, and you know, the stolen bases, right? And so, yeah, I agree, and I feel like that's why I get so excited about this team, is because I feel like they've fixed a lot of their issues. Now, Gary, that doesn't mean they won't come up. That doesn't mean you're going to have error-free baseball every single day. That doesn't mean you're not going to get picked off or you're going to get thrown out. That doesn't mean you're not going to have games where your offense doesn't show up. And that, to me, is where I think we have something to do with that, because we go live every night. I said this before, I'll say it again, but in a different way. We go live every night. I think we're all guilty here of kind of overreacting because it's a nightly thing. We always are talking about the Yankees. That's the thing when you look at, like, say, if the Pirates were in the wild card race right now, they're not watching every night. Right now, they're not watching every night. So they don't really want us. No,
they don't want us to have a takeaway after every game.
Yeah.
When they win, they want us to talk about it, and they certainly want us to have a takeaway about it. But when they lose, sometimes you just look like a joke for a month and a half, and you don't really have an explanation for that.
But
right?
like you always said, like, the Dodgers lost to the Rockies. Like, anybody can lose to anybody, and that was why when the Yankees in the gauntlet, like, they lost that, I forget what game it was, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to let them prove it. Like, I didn't like it. I did not. It's not acceptable, but I feel like it was just a bad day, right?
Was it the Detroit series?
I think it was the Detroit series. And they came out again, and we were kind of annoyed, right? Like, whatever. But it's like there's still plenty of time and all that to go. And yeah, for the most part, I thought they were really good in that, you know, obviously they want the Detroit games back. Those are not good losses at all. I think Detroit, did they lose again today?
Detroit, I'm pretty sure they did lose.
They lost to Atlanta.
Yeah, and Atlanta's not a great team this year. So, essentially what we're saying, the Yankees are going to make a boneheaded play between now and the end of the regular season or in the postseason. However, if you're not going to play smart, you just need to play smarter than the team that you're playing. Everyone makes mistakes. Let's not act like they've got to be errorless the rest of the season, errorless in October to be champions. You just don't. You don't. You have to find a way to be better than the team you're playing. And you can look at the Dodgers of last year and say, did everything line up the way that they wanted it? Was their rotation as healthy as it could have been? No. Right? Flaherty's not on that roster. It was pretty much 2 or 3 healthy guys. They only had like 3 bodies in the rotation. They were bringing starters in relief, Madison Bumgarner style, in closing the World Series. Guys, it was a bunch of makeshift, okay, something's going wrong over here, let's patch it up over there. The Yankees are going to have to do something similar. They just are. We have no idea how this thing's going to go, but they have to be more opportunistic when they get their opportunities. I can tell you, the Yankees over the past, even the make it to the World Series, we really had our shots, Jake. In that World Series, we had our shots. We had our shots in previous postseason runs. We just didn't get that big hit. We didn't. We didn't get that big ground ball that there's some guys who are paid a lot of money. Oh, this ground ball pitcher, and sure enough, the ball's in the air, right? And we didn't come through when we had to come through. Are these games evidence that we're about to see them come through in a different way? I think a lot of it actually, believe it or not, is personnel related. Do you have the style of players who are willing to do that? We do now. Cody Bellinger is willing to do that. We've seen Ben Rice to the point where he's not just trying to hit home runs. We were actually asking him to stop hitting so many ground balls earlier this year. Not worried about leaving the ballpark. Now, Jazz is another story. He just operates on his own. Trent Grisham, on the other hand, these are the type of at-bats that we want. So I'm really, I think, most interested to see our offense. What does this group do in October? And I shouldn't even say I'm looking forward to seeing the bullpen, because there's some guys who are building some momentum. I know you saw Doval today. He was the bend not break. I guess what he was, that's
walks.
what that was.
Oh, man. He doesn't make it easy.
He never makes it easy, and that's the reason that he was traded. But can't really say that Doval is necessarily a weapon.
By the way, Rice is the one that tied the game up in the 6th inning. That was a huge opposite field hit to score Grisham. And that game, that inning, by the way, Bellinger hits a rocket and it's right at the defender. So they almost double him up. They don't. And then Rice comes through. He had to come through too, because Gary, I'd make the argument if Rice doesn't come through there, they don't even go to extras. I think they were dead in the water if they didn't score in that inning.
I think everyone would agree. I think everyone would agree with that. They do. Yeah. But that's sort of how things go.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to be the winning team in clutch time, you want the situation where the other team's looking at it and go, man, I really felt like we should have won this game, and that one play didn't bounce our way. The Yankees throughout the years have been on the other side of that. If we, in the 6th inning, we probably gave away a run right there. You don't want to be the team giving away runs. You don't.
No.
That's the importance of Caballero, Volpe, right? And this whole makeshift, what they're doing at short. What do we do at third? Is McMahon going to play? He's not hitting. Jason Dominguez, he doesn't play every day. What are we going to do in left field? Okay. The Yankees have to find a way to just play smarter baseball. And I think right now we're catching our groove of where we need to be. Not a lot of great baseball being played right now. Obviously, Detroit is just wetting their sheets. Boston currently losing, and they're not playing with a ton of momentum. But we need Boston to have enough momentum to take down Toronto in this upcoming series, because, Jake, there's plenty of time here. I know that there's only 6 games left in the season. There's technically enough time, but yeah, Boston's, I don't want, the one thing I don't want to see, Jake, last thing I'll say, I don't want to see any people saying, oh, the Red Sox are screwing the Yankees. They knew. No. This is just a matter.
God, no. Come on.
Please, guys, none of those comments on Twitter. None of these teams care. The Orioles don't care. The Red Sox don't care. Unless you're teeing up some matchup for yourself that works for you. These teams aren't trying to screw other organizations by purposely losing games. No. It's just simply not happening. And Apex, want to throw you up on screen. Really appreciate the super with the 2. Says, enough, baboon. No more platooning Ben Rice. So, platoon job on Ben Rice. should be done, should be playing every day. I think that starts. Well, technically, it could start over Wells, right? And that could be the choice. It would surprise me if it was a full-time thing. But in 2026, this should be the answer. There should be no player that, but he's really good against lefties. Ben Rice has got to be a starter for 145 games plus. Has to.
Oh, I absolutely agree. He is a starter. You chose not to trade him for a lot of talented players. You wouldn't include him in the Joe Ryan deal. You wouldn't include him to get, Suarez. And by the way, when I say this, I'm not saying I was like upset that you didn't include him. I'm just telling you how it went. But yeah, I think he's definitely got to be that type of guy. And he can play catcher. And I think catcher is next year, he plays maybe 30, 40 games at catcher. Wouldn't be surprised. But it's a secondary position if Wells, ends up being what we think he can be in 2026. I've kind of already written him off in 2025 because he can still have a home run here and there. He can still have RBIs. But Austin Wells is not what we were expecting in 2025. And, we know he's dealing with some stuff injury-wise, so it is what it is. But yeah, the last thing I wanted to bring up, by the way, before we move on to Schlittler, because he was great. The last thing I want to bring up here is Aaron Judge walking is like the equivalent, because that's the thing. It's a positive to walk Aaron Judge because you're taking the bat out of his hand and he's the most feared hitter. But is it not like a LeBron James, Kevin Durant going up for a basket and then you're fouling them and now they go to the line and they can still make you pay? Maybe not Durant because Durant's kind of automatic at the free throw line, but LeBron's not. Like he's gotten better, but he's not automatic, right? Judge is an automatic steal. He's not, but he still can steal a base or two. So he can still affect you, but you would still rather foul or you would rather walk him to avoid actually letting him do the damage.
Yeah,
so,
his preventing of just even making it out at all is part of your offense operating the way it needs to. Sometimes you look up and today the guy who's protecting him was Cody. Holy, do you hear that lightning?
That was loud.
That's insane. Cody Bellinger was the guy protecting Aaron Judge today. Well, in October, if Aaron Judge is drawing a walk, to your point, it's in a way, it's like getting to the free throw line. Well, now it's up to Cody Bellinger to cash in. That's why we pay you the big bucks. Now, will it be consistent? No, it's not going to be as consistent as something that Aaron Judge could do himself. But if you try to force it, it's as good as not going to the free throw line at all. You can't score then. So, yeah, love that. And by the way, Apex got a little triple super chat going here. Thank you for the 2. It says, also, Jake, Reds knocked off the Mets. Goodness gracious. I didn't see the Mets. The Mets lost again today. The Soto curse. Now, guys, this is the curse of going into a regular season with no starting pitching. Rotation. You don't care at all about it? Okay, well, you're going to see exactly why you won 87 games the year prior. You need starting pitching. They
lost to the Nationals, bro. That's the second worst team in the NL.
By the way, what's just so funny about the Nationals being bad is I think the perception is, they got James Wood, right? They got all this in the trade for Soto. Isn't it so funny how these teams in baseball make it seem like if they landed like some future star in these big trades, that they just it's the ticket to the lottery. It's like, well, not really.
It's because like an elevator up. Like it's just
if James Wood becomes an all-time great player, well, that's great for you, but you got rid of Juan Soto because you had to pay him and then you traded him. So in reality, what you're doing is it's just a reset button that maybe 4 years down the road, your team is good again, which that seems like what the Nationals are trying to do is 2 or 3 years from now, be good. Well, guess who's expensive now? James Wood. So guys, going young, going the cheap route, it's only cheap for so long when you have good talent on the field. And that doesn't seem like it's working out for the Nationals unless they play the Mets. So Apex, appreciate you bringing that to my attention. I did not know that. And Apex for the 2 says, I have more faith. Jake's right. Yankees go back-to-back World Series berths.
That's going to be wild, by the way. Arizona won today against the Phillies. They're 1 game out.
Yeah, you've been talking about Arizona for a while. You've been talking about him.
I give them credit. They could have sold everybody, and they didn't. They traded away Suarez. You had to trade Suarez. His stock was way too high not to trade him. But they were telling, they're going to trade this guy and this guy and this guy. They kept their roster together for the most part.
They did. I mean, you get rid of Suarez, you don't expect to go on a run, but
yeah,
the way Suarez has been playing, I know he's been playing a little bit better of late, but Arizona's winning anyway. They have a lot of good players. They do. And when you lose a Corbin Burns, I mean, that stings, but evidently they've got enough over there. So, and again, guys, you don't have to be great. Low Lev Dev. Richmond B with the 2 says, is Low Lev Dev getting better?
Say that 5 times fast.
Right. Okay. So, guys, I want to look up what Devin Williams is doing. So, today, well, he's really good. But overall, I would say this about Devin Williams. Let's not read too much into it. Let's just not. He is going to, whether you guys like it or not, whether you think he deserves it or not, he is going to be on the mound. Very similar to Luke Weaver. They're going to pitch high-stakes situations. They just are due to the roster. Doval can't be trusted. He won't be trusted. Just the rest of the way. He's just not. They're going to have to find a way to put him on the mound, and he's going to have to come through if we're going to do anything. So, not what you want, ideally, but it can work for the reasons that you've brought up, Jake. It's Devin Williams. We traded for him for a reason, so maybe this can work. We've seen crazier things. Relievers can turn it on a dime in a favorable way. So I'm going to give Devin Williams the benefit, not the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him the runway to land this plane. I'm going to give him that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, since, what was it, the 3rd of September, which was the Astros game, that sucked. He hasn't given up a run since. So that's 5 innings, and he's struck out 7. I think he's been really good. And the pitch count, you'll notice it has gone down. It went from 34 in that Houston game to then 22, 20, 16, 10, 16. Like, I think he's just been more methodical. He's been more effective. And I think that's what you've seen from it. And then I wanted to point this out.
Yeah.
Because, Ed, is it selfish that I want them to win the division because going to playoff games midweek sucks, and if they win, it lines up mostly weekends? No, because if that's not selfish, then neither is me wanting them not to be in the wild card, because I'm literally going to Los Angeles for a whole. It's this round table thing for the NFC West, since I cover the Rams, and it's like it's a trip paid by them. So like I'm going with all these people to the Rams 49er game, and it's like recording Yankees Unloaded, in an Airbnb shared by 8 other I is going to be a little wild. So I can't guarantee anything, and that's why I want to be a part of it,
Yeah, and guys, we want this to go as long as possible. I guess technically you can argue that the way for this show to go on as long as possible is go to the wild card. We get to get some episodes in before the division series, but that almost exponentially improves your opportunity to lose in the division series, right?
Yeah.
You maybe don't get to tee up Fried for game 1. Maybe Rodon doesn't pitch game 2 or 3. Maybe that start looks like on the road where a team already has it going and they're well rested and waiting for you. We don't want that. So for selfish reasons, I guess we'll call it that, we want the Yankees to win the division. But we've said, and I think, Jake, we both agree, we're probably not winning this division. We need Boston to play like trade deadline time Boston. They need to turn it on quickly. And I wouldn't say it's that crazy to say, because Boston, now that this is put up or shut up time, they're playing for their own positioning as well. So guys, if you wanted a team to be playing for your benefit, and help you out, another organization, how about that organization needing those wins desperately? That's all the motivation they need. So Go Red Sox for the time being.
I agree.
And Matthew, thank you for the 20, my man. Really appreciate it. Says, long time, fellas. Offense is much more balanced this year, Jake. I know you agree. But bullpen, much more shaky, in my opinion. I think the pen is maturing at the right time, but Grish and Belly are the X factors. Now, there was something I wanted to talk about with Cody Bellinger. Now, Cody Bellinger, in his last 7 games, is hitting a .179. He had took a nice at bat against a lefty. It's go figure. He's dynamic against lefties. Hitting .232 his last 15 games, .267 his last 30. So this hasn't been a long-term problem. But Cody Bellinger's not playing his best baseball at the moment, right? Trent Grisham, on the other hand, also, he had a big night the other day, but overall for the past month, he's slowed down a little bit. Now, the good news is about these players is the bat isn't the only way they can contribute. They're both really good on the other end. I shouldn't say Grisham can run the bases really that well. Cody Bellinger can. So, yeah, Matthew, this is a different team. This is a postseason where you can probably circle 4 or 5 different players. You're like, I can see him being the X factor. And it's not all about, in the terms of the conversation, is 99 going to play hero ball? I think this team is more built to have actual teammates pulling some rope this year. So we'll see what those X factors do. Jake, I think you said Trent Grisham was your X factor. I'm not sure exactly. Was it Trent Grisham?
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing about the Yankees. I think they have a ton of X factors, but I mean, he's definitely up there. I just think that the Yankees have one of the better teams on paper in the league. And
that's fair. I'll actually give my answer. I think it's Jazz Chisholm. I think that's going to be the Yankees X factor this year. When he plays well, the Yankees win. When he doesn't play well, he's making unproductive outs. He just cannot figure it out. I have a lot of belief in what Jazz can do. Now, do I trust that he's going to do it? I'm not sure. But the keys are there. You take it for a spin, please. Jazz, this is the time to turn it on. I know he's got a 30-30 season under his belt. It's going to make him a lot of money. That's great. But I think Yankees fans now are over the whole regular season statistics, and I think we're past that. We've seen Judge put up regular season numbers with arguably better than any other player we've seen of the generation. It's more so about what you do when it's important. I think Jazz has the most physical ability to go out there and change the Yankees' ability, like really changing their trajectory, because teams aren't going to be game planning for Jazz. I'm sorry. This isn't anything negative against Jazz Chisholm, but when you look at the Yankees lineup, you're probably thinking, we've got to keep Grisham in the ballpark. Judge is Aaron Judge. Cody Bellinger has won an MVP. We got to pay attention to him. You just don't think about the player who was voted the most overrated player in the league, whether it's true or not. He kind of hides. And so that's what I think the beauty is in being an X factor.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, the thing about Jazz, and this is the thing about Jazz, is he going to understand that his value is him being a line drive guy rather than a home run guy? Like, I need you on the base paths type deal more than I need you putting it in the seats. I'm not against you hitting a home run, but I am against you whiffing and not getting on base at all.
Which he struck out 3 times today, to be fair. He did have a hit, so we gave him credit for that. He drove in a run. That's great. Right? So we want to make sure he gets credit for what he does. So when you're leaving the seats, we love watching that. 31 homers on the season, that's great. But at the same time, if he's gonna really make an impact for this team, he's gonna be all over the bases. He's gonna be running. He's gonna look like really what you've seen out of Caballero, who you mentioned yesterday, is really in a way set the tone for how the Yankees are starting to play. I really hope Jazz does less in October, because if he can do a little less, the 70% swing, get the baseball in play, all the raw tools are there. Defensively, yes, does he make boneheaded mistakes? You saw the glove flip the other day, ridiculous decision to make. He's too good for that. But you just have to accept some of those boneheaded plays and that those improve, especially with the bright lights turning on here in the next really 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to watching Jazz. We'll see what happens here. And Kyle Malay with the 2 says rooting for Boston is going to be weird this week. No shame in it, my man. No shame. Jake, I don't know about you. I just want to win this division because I know, first and foremost, I do not want this show to end with Jake in Los Angeles covering the Rams, and I've got to do a solo show got to go by myself, and it's just a funeral in here. And yeah, we'll have a big audience of people pissed off, and it's always nice to have an audience and in a big game or whatever the situation, but not like that. That's not how we want it.
No, I clearly I didn't even think this would even happen, right? Because I was just like, oh yeah, like the Yankees will, they'll win the division. I won't have to worry about it. Then all of a sudden it got closer and closer, and I was like, then I realized I was like, oh shit, it's the same.
We're up 12 games.
Yeah,
so not that we
and
just
that's when this was announced.
Easy,
to be fair. So
right, we didn't say it was going to be easy. We expected the Yankees to have to play better in June and July. They didn't. It's not our fault. We weren't bunting or running the bases. Jake, we were just hitting live and going. So that's the end of our part. So the Yankees have put us in this situation where maybe the last episode this year of Yankees Unloaded, not this year per se, because we'll be doing winter meetings and whatever have you, but we don't want the postseason run to end in the wild card. So let's be rooting for the Red Sox the rest of the way. They should not catch us with our schedule as it currently is. This is simply go Red Sox, Blue Jays bad. That's the takeaway. And Scott Ross with a 5 says Boston reconfigured their pitching. Toronto getting both Bello and Crochet. Really? And technically, this would be a bounce back start for Bello. This is a bounce back start, and Crochet is Crochet. So that'll be interesting. That's pretty obvious. So love that, Scott. What do you think, by the way, like when it comes to how Boston's playing, do you think Boston will play well in this series? Do we know, by the way, who's pitching for Toronto in that series?
Yeah, they're going to get their best. Remember, I think I went over it. It was Gosman, Scherzer.
That's correct. Yeah.
And who was the other one? Since Bassett's out. Oh,
yeah, you did mention the injury. Who?
Shane Bieber.
That's right. And what a while. How's he been throwing, by the way?
Bieber? What? What's going on?
Right. Shane Bieber. I want to know how he's throwing. And of late, pretty well. Against Kansas City on the 20th, 6 1/3, 2 runs surrendered, gave up 2 homers, but that's not the end of the world. And then against Baltimore, who obviously just lays down with the best of them, he pitched 6 innings, surrendered 1 run. So Bieber's thrown well. He has. And this is a home start. So this will be interesting. Bieber's been good.
Yeah.
Really good for this team. It's going to be a tough series.
I don't think it's one like Boston's going to sweep them, but I think Boston definitely wins the Crochet matchup, and then Bayo, we'll see. I don't know about Giolito. I believe Giolito is going up against I'm pretty sure Giolito is going up against Gosman.
Okay.
So I think it's Gosman. Bayo is facing Scherzer, or maybe Scherzer's third, and then Bieber against Crochet.
The Scherzer start is advantage Red Sox. Boston's given away games that, just like we have, that they have no business losing, even with their injured roster, guys down left and right, not playing well. No, they give away games too. But with your season on the line and you see a 40-year-old Max Scherzer, you got to win that game. So go Red Sox. Scott, really appreciate the super, my man. Thank you.
Nothing tomorrow because we're all off tomorrow. The Yankees, Blue Jays, and the Red Sox.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
I mean, I can tell you, Ravens Lions sounds good, but you have to wait until 8:30. So
again, I've got no clue. I don't know. Maybe some dinner plans. Who knows? But it's not weird for me rooting for the Red Sox as long as it's regular season baseball and it's about us, not them. I'm cool with it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't care. You're not rooting for the Red Sox. You just want them to win 3 games. That's it.
No, we want Toronto to lose. That's really the gist of it. This is more about the Blue Jays, and the Jays have played really good baseball all year, and we're running out of time. Need some help. So, day off tomorrow, no prediction. Do we have any voicemails?
We do. So, we have 3 here.
Okay.
And real quick, the next game is Tuesday against the White Sox. It's Luis Heel versus Shane Smith. He's had a really good year, but lately he started to kind of fall off a little bit. So Yankees are potentially getting him at a good time. Last time he saw the Yankees, it was a 11-inning game. So he pitched 6 1/3, only gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, gave 2 solo home runs, and 7 strikeouts he had in that one. Yankees found a way to win 5-3 in 11 innings. So that was August 30th. They'll be seeing Shane Smith coming off a blow-up outing against Baltimore. There you go.
Wow, that's tough to do.
I know.
Blow up start against Baltimore. I don't know how that happens. But, I mean, slated for Tuesday, we've got Heel, Fried, and then TBD.
That's interesting. That tells me they're reconfiguring their lineup, their rotation, because that was not the case.
Which I'm fine with. In
I'm
this
okay
scenario,
with it, yeah.
where you've got to win regular season games, I think it's win out time.
Oh, no,
you got to win
Warren.
the rest of the games.
Yeah, it's Warren.
So on ESPN, it's showing that.
Yeah, ESPN is showing Heel, Fried, Warren, Rodon, Schlittler, Heel.
Okay.
So you would have, that means for the wild card game 1, you would have Fried, Rodon. I don't think Heel would pitch that game 3 unless you want him on short rest.
Well, first, no. Heel would never pitch on short rest. That would just make no sense.
No, so it would probably be Schlittler or Warren. Schlittler would be good to go, though.
Yeah, just my personal opinion. I don't pitch Luis Heel on short rest. He's a guy who struggles with his command. It can be here today, gone tomorrow. You see the same thing with Cruz. If he doesn't have his control, he's pretty much useless. Well, pitching guys on short rest is off schedule. I don't know if I want to see a guy who's mostly wild, which again is a very good pitcher, being off schedule. So if Heel is going to be your game 3 starter over Schlittler, I don't have a huge problem with it. Personally, I would go with Schlittler. But having said all this, you got to make sure if you're going to pitch somebody for a potential game 3 of a wild card, you better bet your ass that he's actually gotten the necessary the actual rest to pitch that game. I think that's only fair to him.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the voicemails, and then we'll wrap the show.
Cool.
Hello, everyone.
This is Guy, by the way.
Tonight, Gary and Jake, last night your predictions were in line with mine, so great job as usual.
Thank you.
Bradish has been good and looking really good, but looking at his projections, I see some regression coming, if only the season was a little longer, but perhaps tonight it starts.
Oh,
I don't see him completing 6 innings for a quality start. I see Cam pitching really strong, and I see another step towards starting game 3 today. He's a stud. And what makes him even better is he has been great pitching on the road. Even with that 1 inning, 4 runs he gave up to Toronto recently, he has pitched 27 innings with a 2.96 ERA on the road. So he's awesome. Judge has been hot, and this will be his 12th straight Sunday that he gets a hit. And like Jake was saying, I could see number 50 today, or if not, maybe at home on Tuesday, because I think it's coming quickly. My overall prediction is similar to Jake and Gary's. I do have them adding runs against the Oriole bullpen, and I see our bullpen sharpening for the playoffs and doing its job. Yankees win 5-2, and on the over and under since I started, I've been hot with 11 wins and 3 losses. Tonight's pick, under 8.5 runs. Oh, Yankees.
Oh, barely.
Oh, man, like just by that much. Damn.
Yeah. So
Hey,
we had
a
8
win is a
runs, so
win.
we hit the under, which he did message me about this under, so well done there. And yeah,
I didn't
Bradish
hit
was
the under. I had 9.
Yeah. Bradish was excellent. Completely dominant. We talked about the slider. The breaking ball is just nasty. Girardi talked about it on the broadcast today. He's like, hey, if a guy's going to be throwing a breaking ball, you need to be running. But he talked about it when we were pitching, right? Cruz is in a situation where he very clearly is going to be throwing a splitter. He does, and their base runner was just sitting there sucking his thumb at first. It's just not smart baseball. The Yankees, obviously, it's hard to be aggressive when you strike out 9 times and you walk twice in 6 innings. We had 2 hits in that span, so we were literally on base 4 times. It's difficult to score when you do that. And Guy, he does mention Aiken, Stroud, Geraldo. we scored a ton off those guys. So obviously tip your cap to that group for doing a job well done. Yankees find a way to win.
Yeah, no, that was a good prediction, Guy. All right, let's move on to Mark here, and then we have Kyle Malay to end the show.
Ben Rice, baby. Ben Rice. Oh, my goodness. What a game. What a game. Bednar, man, I had no doubt whatsoever that he'd get a that inning. And then, so happy to see that explosion of time. You saw the statistics, guys. We're terrible on the road in extra inning games, so this was a must-win for us. It's a shame that Toronto scored the 3 to make it 8-5, but we'll see how that ends. But great win for the Yankees, and I know it's the Yankees podcast, but I have to talk some football because this 1 o'clock slate of games, I can't remember such an insane slot. On my split screen, I had the Green Bay game, I had the Eagles game, and then I had the Jets game on the 3 split screens. And all 3 of those games, blocked field goal, muff punt, or muff field goal for the win into winning field goal, into blocked field goal for a touchdown, into another winning field goal. Like, insane. I'm sorry, by the way, Jake. I know it was disappointing, but
I enjoyed
these
it.
games in this slate were so exciting in the last 2 minutes. It was incredible. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, I have no idea why our game wasn't prime time. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
No one knows, but guess it's over and done with now.
Yeah, it worked out though, because it would have been like maybe we get this show done beforehand. I don't know.
It would have probably forced us to do some late night Sunday show, and it would have been a damn graveyard. No one would have seen it.
Work at the graveyard shift. 5 people in here.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But yes, it was very. I have a hard time saying it was exciting because I was dead inside, but pretty crazy. And the Jets somehow found a way to lose after that. I don't even know.
It's who they are.
I covered them for a year. I know.
I don't know why you would do that.
I will never do that again.
No, but Bednar was great.
Yes,
he's great.
Yes, he was.
He's unshakable. When it comes to pitching in New York, it's sort of how you have to be wired. I mean, we kind of just throw it around. If he's built for New York, it's more so of just about, if you look around baseball, you don't have to play in New York to be built for New York per se. You just need to be unafraid, just completely unafraid. And you can tell when somebody's afraid and when they're not. And, we saw earlier this year, you saw Will Warren pitching in that game at Dodger Stadium. You're like, this is a great pitcher, and we're super hopeful for it. You see fear, right? You can see some fear in their eye, and that's somewhat diminished, which is great for Warren. But David Bednar, they were saying this about him in Pittsburgh. Oh, if there's one thing about him, unshakable, bulldog was the exact description they gave. And would we describe him any different? He is who he is. I really believe that this is sort of how it is. You work one job, and that job's going to say a certain thing about you. The next job is going to find out something similar. So David Bednar has been awesome. And just stay healthy. Rest of the group, stay healthy. We need this bullpen. Anything we can get.
All right. So the last one here is Kyle Malay to wrap the show.
Let it fly, Kyle.
Hey guys, Kyle Malay here. What a game by Ben Rice. Without him, we don't win this game. But good Lord, they waited to the 10th inning to score all their runs basically. But hey, 7-1. We're still 2 back from the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays won today. But they got a tough. Blue Jays have a tough 3 games coming up. Yankees should sweep the White Sox. If we don't sweep the White Sox, there's something wrong. And hopefully the Red Sox, I'm actually rooting for the Red Sox on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They need to beat the Blue Jays for us. Please. Yeah.
Kyle's a popular dude.
Yeah, very popular. My
Right
phone
at the
doesn't
end of
buzz.
the day, my Steelers won, so that's a good thing. I know Gary, your Eagles won against the Rams. Sorry about that, Jake. But
I can't get away.
No.
Let's all have a good night and have a good off day tomorrow and go Yankees.
Kyle's a
I loved
busy guy.
everything
My
about
phone
that.
does not buzz this much. It just doesn't.
And did you hear him? He sounded like he was getting annoyed too. Like, geez, the phone was just buzzing off the hook.
I mean, it's either he's just a super busy guy or he's in like 6 fantasy leagues. Who knows what the deal was?
That's true. When they push notifications, who knows? But it's always better when we just assume it's people blowing up our phone.
We'll assume that Kyle is just a very, very popular guy. But Kyle, we really appreciate the voicemail. So yeah, Bednar good, Schlittler good, Ben Rice good. That should have been our show today. Jazz Chisholm bad for most of the game, good at the end.
That was
all right. Like the
was
video,
funny.
yeah,
Yep.
but it was the sort of the opposite of the way you'd normally describe the Yankees. They're pretty good innings 1 through 7, and then as soon as the time where they got to really get it going and lock it in, they lock out. We're gonna whatever you need in this moment, we're just gonna do the opposite, and then we're gonna talk about it post game. The Yankees over the past couple weeks here are finding a way to be a little anemic through the innings 1 through 7, and they look more like what the Blue Jays look like all year, where they just turn it on when it matters. So will it continue? I have no idea, but for the sake of Yankees Unloaded, let's hope it does, because I don't want to do a solo show to be eliminated in the wild card. So go Red Sox and then go Yankees.
Yeah, and the Red Sox, not go Red Sox tonight because that only adds some more padding. They left the bases loaded in the top of the 5th.
Yep.
So Tampa got out of it, but yeah, that's going to do it. Drop in the comments section. Give us some Ben Rice pun that isn't terrible that we've already heard. Just any Ben Rice pun.
Drop in a Ben Rice joke in the comment section if you stuck with us for an hour. Make sure you guys subscribe to Yankees Unloaded if you're with us with Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If it's possible, I have no idea. I don't listen on there. Leave us a review. Leave us a rating if you could. It would help us out a ton. And before you guys go, make sure you guys hit the like button.